All right, so both you guys, did either one of you play football? High school, anything? No. Interesting.
Just in the backyard with friends and throwing the ball around.
Yeah. So coming into it, did you kind of do anything special to prepare to play a football quarterback, or any sort of research or talking to anyone, or did you just dive on in?
My character doesn't actually throw the ball in the film, so that going for me. But I did do some research, actually Matt Leinert just left, sat down with him and talked about what it is, the lifestyle of being an NFL player. So that was informative for me.
Yeah, and I sort of zeroed in on
right there, buddy?
Yeah, need to be hiccuped. To throw up a little on my shirt. I think for me it was focusing on the physical transformation, and that drove a lot of. I like it sometimes to kind of work from the outside in, and so to change the way that you move and the way that you feel, and then watching tons of draft day footage on ESPN was just running it the whole time leading up to the draft.
So both you guys, you get into Kevin Costner is sort of beloved for sort of the sports movie. Is there a pressure going into that, sort of knowing could be this sort of iconic Americana sort of thing, or?
Yes and no. I mean, the movie's going to be good because he's in it. So in some ways, the pressure's off.
Yeah.
A little bit, but at the same time, there's pressure because you want to be a part of the team. You want to bring something to it, and be another piece of the puzzle that makes this film great.
Yeah, we're all riding his coattails at the end of the day. He's carrying this thing, and I think, like Tom said, I think you somebody like that, you're just trying to keep the whole thing going. I don't want to screw it up for him, and he's so good. You just want to make him proud.
And do you, obviously it's one of the first movies that has, sort of the big NFL official, sanction, whatever. Did that help it? Did it make it any feel more real when you're sitting in a locker room with real jerseys and real team? And did it give that?
Exactly what you just said. In order, to actually put on the uniform, to actually be in the facility, to be able to interact with the players, to me, it just made it feel so much more authentic.
Was it tough for you? I think, when you come in, you have, a supporting part, but not, you immediately have a great scene where you really go toe to toe with him, and you haven't had the luxury, I think, probably of so many days to sort of wind up to that.
Right.
Does that add anything? Did you?
I think it's as good as it is bad. It just sort of is the way it is. But I know that the 20 minutes before we started that scene was the first time I ever met Kevin Costner. But as Kevin has a way of focusing and putting you at ease, and at the same time maintaining a level of professionalism, which just really, holds the bar really high, which is great. It's inspiring.
And one other thing I think that's sort of interesting about the movie is that although it's set in the world of football, you don't really have to know football, I think, to enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Or anything about the draft, for that matter. I mean, this is all a very humanistic, behind-the-scenes look at something that is so kind of storied, and the draft is a big day, but all of the science behind that is really not. You don't have to know any of that, and you're going to love this movie.
And I would imagine, you guys both have been on a million sets, and then we have some real players in this movie who've probably never been on a set, but clearly, being at, when they're actually shooting at the draft.
Yeah.
What did that feel like to you? I mean, was it?
Oh, it's amazing because you, as an actor, that's a dream. You're getting all of those elements that normally you would have to sort of conjure in your mind. It's all there and it's all happening. And then on top of it, to have Stephen Hill, Arian Foster, as right before a scene rolls, I can ask them questions. That's hugely informative. What's going through your head in that moment? What are you thinking? When your number drops, how does that feel? Are you getting text messages from your friends? All these things, you got the source right there.
Tom, tell me a little bit about working with Ivan Reitman.
It was great. Ivan's a lot of fun. A real sort of, for lack of a word, a gentle approach to directing, but also very territorial about making sure that there's an environment in front of the camera where the actors are safe to sort of explore the scene. And he's honest. He'll come in and tell you straight up, with respect, obviously, but you know where you stand, and you can you're free to explore because he's directing you, and he's got an eye, and he's making sure things work. So it's a very safe environment to fail, which I enjoy.
Do you have any thoughts on working with Ivan?
Yeah, he was great. I echo the sentiment that just he's very honest. So I knew, I remember having one rough take at the draft behind the, scenes at the draft with Sean, and I were improvising, and he he didn't dig it, and we knew right away. And it's great because you don't get into your own head. You're not like, is he really not liking this, but he's saying that he's liking it. He's very specific and direct, and that's very comforting.
What would you tell someone to go, why they should go see Draft Day?
Well, I think it's a great behind-the-scenes look at a real kind of slice of Americana. And if you love drama and you love story, this is a character-driven piece, not really plot-driven, and it's poignant. It's oddly poignant by the end. It'll get you.
Either of you regular football fans? Watchers?
I watch football, but I'm not a huge fanatic.
So no. I would imagine even people who are football fans, probably some people are way into the draft and really know it, and other people, it's sort of, to me, I thought what was so interesting is really what you sort of learn behind the scenes of what goes into this, that it's almost like a giant chess game. These guys are really worrying about who's going to be great in 3 years and what we're going to need tomorrow and what we need in 5 years.
And the draft is going to become more important with the rise of the fantasy football leagues. I think there's even more of a spotlight on them.
What about Jennifer Garner? Neither of you work with her.
No, but she's when I saw her on set several times. She was very lovely, so sweet and genuine. And then I saw the movie, and I think she's the heartbeat of the movie. She and Ellen Burstyn bring a very real groundedness to it.